no secret, the world we're living in is tough. Economy we're living in is tough right now, and that's especially true for young people coming out of school. I mean, it's true for anybody, but especially Gen Z in those first few years out of college. So we enlisted some expert help here because we want to set you up for success. We have Barry Garapedian. He is a young adult career consultant, founder of Mag 7 Consulting, author of Winning the Game of Life, the 7 Lessons You Never Learn in School, because real life, there's a whole lot of hard lessons that don't come in a textbook.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Hey, Barry.
It's great to be here, gang, and I can't wait to share some thoughts with you guys.
Okay, let's dive right in. In terms of advice for this generation, if they're about to graduate from college, if they just graduated, maybe they're heading into their senior year, what's the first thing you want them to know?
Anthony, believe it or not, this is the best time for a Gen Z to be in the marketplace.
Ooh.
Gen Z's 50 to 28, and here's why. Back in the day, it used to be your superpower was IQ. Then it transitioned later into your EQ, your emotional intelligence. Today, the new superpower is AQ, adaptability. Can you adapt into this new world of technology? There are more young minds working on technology-related AI things than ever, creating apps, having a mindset of being relentlessly useful, figuring out a problem. So I think this is a great time for young minds to be in the workforce.
Ooh, I love your perspective here. Okay, so let me hone in on a part of what you said in terms of the fact that there are a whole lot of young people coming out of school with a certain set of skills. They can use in a million different ways, obviously, but a whole lot of young people coming out of school at the same time here. Obviously, only so many jobs that will be available, but obviously they could create their own, but how do you stand out right now?
It starts with a mindset, Anita. The old school of scarcity, victimhood is not going to get you a job. Having the mindset of being relentlessly useful, in other words, creating value for someone, being a value creator. There's 3 ways you create value. There's material value, there's emotional value, and there's spiritual value. Can you create value and have that mindset of helping, being relentlessly useful? So it starts with a mindset. If you think everything's going to be handed to you, it's not going to happen. Not in this environment. So it starts with that mindset. In addition to that, that only gets you so far. What is the plan? We need to treat job hunting like a job and have strategies and metrics of numbers you're looking to hit. So there's all kinds of things we can talk to you about that. But let's just take one example, a handwritten note. You meet someone. Remember back in the day of writing handwritten notes, wax seal, dripping wax. You meet someone, creating a network. It's not done now.
Correct.
That is one micro thing that can make a huge difference when you meet someone. Think about how you guys ascended into roles that you're in right now. No one handed you anything. You had to have the confidence, self-esteem to position yourself to be in the right rooms. And so there's a lot to that.
Do you think, give us an assessment of Gen Z. You know, I would say that, at least in the mainstream on social media, there's a lot of buzz and chatter about how this generation, Gen Z, expects things to be handed to them in a way that, you know, the boomers or the Gen Xers or the millennials are like, hey, you gotta you gotta switch that mindset. Nothing's gonna be handed to you. What have you personally noticed about Gen Zers? Is there any truth to that stereotype?
Anthony, you're 100% right. So the reality is the Gen Z mindset is completely different than the millennials, which would be a different, or the baby boomers like I am. But I think the attitude is, we think of the term ROI, return on investment. Let's reframe ROI to return on impact. Can a young mind have the mindset to impact someone or help them? But the reality is most of the Gen Zs coming out of school, they're brilliant, bright, smart, academic, 4.0s, 3.87, you name it, but they don't have the soft skills like both of you have. They don't have the people skills, or we call the EQ, emotional intelligence. Why? Well, we know COVID happened. That's real.
Oh.
I wanted to dig in on
room for
that.
5 years. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
So they were available to be with people. So it's clearly part of that, but it's also the mindset that remote access. People are working in the office, they're working at home, they don't want to be around people. So it's a different game right now. And so the game right now is to be happy, fulfilled, and let's figure out lifestyle versus lifestyle. That's right. Lifestyle versus lifestyle. Do you want to live a stale life? No. You need to play offense and make things happen.
Yeah, I really wanted to drive home on that, the COVID impact of where they are in life, because the college experience that we had versus what I've seen my nephew, who's 2 years out of college, go through, it has been drastically different. But then again, I have to like put my brain together and say, well, okay, well, he went home at spring break of his freshman year and wasn't back on campus for 2.5 more years.
Yeah.
So here's one technique that your nephew could do today. It's called practice going first. In other words, be the first to initiate something. Be the first to say good morning, good afternoon, first to shake hands, first to be in that elevator asking everybody on the elevator, what floor please? And that person's pressing the buttons. What this does, it's the first step of demonstrating leadership. It's also demonstrating confidence if you're initiating. So that's a white belt version. That's the first step of developing people skills, is go first. So I would start with that with your nephew,
really like
and
that.
make it a game. You need to do 10 of these a day, 5 of these a day. Let's keep score and make it fun. Remember, kids love games. Gamify it.
But can we flip it?
Yeah, unlock those achievements.
Yeah. Can we flip it though and ask, are we as older adults, how can we help them along? But what have we done to maybe hinder them?
Well,
what are we doing?
You don't want to do too much. I call it healthy struggles, Anita. You didn't get to where you are by everyone giving you. You had to go through struggles, healthy struggles to get there. School, education, mentors, coaches. The same with our kids. If we do everything for them, they're going to miss it.
Yeah.
People on Wall Street, people in real estate, people commercial, you name it. Cold calling, rejection. It's part of the game. It's okay. And I call it fail forward. You are either winning or you're learning. There's no losing. You're either winning or learning. So the idea is it's okay to fall. You get up again. That's what both of you have done.
In terms, Barry, of staying on a job, once you do have a job, let's say they do get that first gig, okay? How long has the benchmark changed over the years for how long you should stay in that job? For example, I just want to give an example of, like, let's say everything's not perfect. Well, what first job is perfect, right? You're just trying to get your feet wet, get used to post-college life or whatever. But I'm guessing that you have Gen Zers that may think, oh my gosh, X, Y, and Z boxes aren't checked. I'm gonna quit and find something that's a better fit. In terms of their standards for what they will accept for that first job, what's your advice for how they should kind of tune their compass? Do you advise, hey, give everything at least 6 months? Do you advise 3 months, staying in a gig for a year? In my generation, there was all this concern about, if you have too many things on your resume, that's bad because you'll look.
Red flag,
red flag. You'll look like a job hopper. So, what's your take on that?
It's different for every kid. So I can't blindly say this is for everyone. I would say you got to work. So your first job is a stepping stone. If you want to get into the Wall Street world, you might have to do other things to get yourself in the game and to be on a team, as an example. So your first job is not going to be your first best thing. It's going to be a stepping stone to another opportunity to meet the right people and learning how to network. That's right. Learning how to, when you meet someone, touch phones, get their contact information, send them a hand note. Great meeting you. And then the note should be all about that other person, about empowering the other person. People don't do that anymore. And so I would suggest having a strategy, a game plan to win the game of life. There has to be a process. And of course, we want the result, but it's all process driven.
Okay.
So good activities. There's no timetable on that, Anthony.
Okay.
Given a hard market right now for a lot of people, how much time do you give young people to, quote, figure it out? Like, I mean, is it 1-2 years if they've got to come back home? You know, this is a generation where you do see more people who maybe need to come back home for a year or two. Or how much time what is the window? Is it 10 years? I mean, what is the window?
No. Well, first of all, you have to figure out what is their big goal, where they want to be. I have everyone have goals, written goals, 90-day goals. We create a vision board. I call it a decision board. It's on their phone, like here. Their vision board's on their wallpaper on their phone, like mine. They see it every day. So we have a focus of where they want to be. We reverse engineer everything they have to do. I actually believe it's the people you meet and the books you read. People you meet and the books you read. That's what has turned incredibly successful kids into meeting the right people. But it's also, you have to have the ability to be in rooms where you sound together. So how do you do that? Well, you have to be reading. I have kids reading 2 books a month. Yes, we use Audible. If you don't like to read, we can do Audible. You gotta be reading. There's so much wisdom in books.
Any recommendations stand out for you in terms of books?
Gosh, I'm looking at one right now for an entrepreneur, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. How he built Nike.
Yeah, the founder of Nike. That's right.
There's an example right there for entrepreneurial kids. For other entrepreneurs, The Gap in the Game by Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy. Great book. 2X to 10X by Dan Sullivan and Ben Hardy. There's so many great books. And if they don't want to read, most of the kids don't want to read. Audible, 7-8 hours in the morning. The big thing also is getting these kids to be thinking. Schools don't teach extraordinary. They don't teach you how to be great. We have to take that in our own hands, meaning coaches, mentors, parents, aunts, uncles. Schools are not doing enough, guys. You know that.
Barry, we're almost out of time, but before we let you go, can you give any advice to parents who parents of college-age kids or college grads? Any blanket advice for parents out there?
Continue believing in your kids, because the biggest gift, I believe, is the I believe button, which is self-esteem. If your parents don't believe in the kids aren't going to believe in themselves. So it's all about confidence. Believe in your kids. Make investments for them from the standpoint of investing in wisdom, knowledge, mentors, coaches, and don't do too much for them. Let them earn it.
Barry Garapedian. We really could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today.
And thank you for what you guys are doing in the community. Awesome job, guys.
You too. Thank you very much.